I love printing. I love printing. I love it. I love printing. We are privileged today to have Mr. Bopi, Tom Mercier. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks, Warren. How are you?
I couldn't be better. I have you on my show. Why don't you tell my faithful listeners and industry peeps a little bit about the company?
So Bopi is about a 50 employee company. We commercial offset printer, die cutting, finishing, mailing, fulfillment, all of those things. We've got a fairly new KBA 8-color perfector that is an incredible piece of equipment. As well as we've got some equipment that produces some really lightweight printing on some really lightweight paper, like 19-pound offset.
At the top of your website, you have ISO 9001 2015 certified, G7 color certified, USPS certified. Do any of your customers actually care?
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so we do quite a bit for the horticulture industry. So they're very picky about color, and being G7 makes a huge difference for that market. There are also manufacturers that only want to do business with ISO companies because they're ISO, and so that's opened up some doors for us as well.
So ISO means when you get it wrong, you just have to go back to the book and look how you did it wrong, but it doesn't say anything about correcting it, correct?
We don't do it wrong.
You don't? My God, that's a great answer. I love it. I love it. I love it. Do you find that with all the certifications, it brings up the employee morale and commitment to what they're doing?
Oh, absolutely. And having the right equipment that allows them to be able to perform to the best of their ability makes a huge difference as well.
Cool. So a comment on your KBA 8-color. When did you get it?
2014.
Cool.
End of 2014.
I was going to say, if you got it recently, you'd have to call it Coing and Bauer because they changed their name.
They did, right? Yes. And UV's come a long way too. The color of UV and being able to go from press right to bindery is huge because we get some crazy demand sometimes. The cameras that read the color bars, it's incredible how it adjusts color on the run, and it's perfect.
So I remember, I'm going to flashback for us older people, but you just said with the UV and the rush jobs and you've got to go right into finishing. Do you remember way back in the 90s when water base was becoming popular and everyone said the same thing with the water base? You put it on, you flip it over, you go right into bindery. Just don't fold it if it's a blue ink.
Yeah, yeah, reflex blue bad.
Yeah, and all these companies still use blues in their logos and stuff. Yeah, when we were doing the UV, it was the conventional changeover setups. Everything was a lot longer. The environmental impact was not as great, but now with the UV and the HUV and the LED, oh my God, you don't even need a pipe off the top of your press out the ceiling anymore.
Yeah.
Right? No dust. Anyways, all that stuff.
Oh, offset spray. Yeah. In fact, sometimes you got to put a little offset spray on there just for the bind. But yeah, it's great.
You might remember we're in printing.
Right.
Right. So tell me something super special about your company that you want everybody to know, even your employees.
So we are an open book managed company. So if anybody's read Jack Stack's book, The Great Game of Business, we share financials, we share all of the information. We meet weekly, and we go through all the different pieces of a financial statement. Each person in those meetings has specific lines that they report, whether it's labor dollars or freight trucking dollars or whatever, and they report what it's going to be for the present month as well as the following month, so that we have some kind of idea of what we're looking at for that 2-month period. And it really helps employees understand that they become like a business owner themselves, so that they can understand that some months are profitable, and then when you hit COVID, your revenue's down 40%, that, you're losing your fanny. And you share it, and they can understand, why you're cutting hours and why you're doing this and why you're doing that, and why their performance makes a difference.
Or how did you come up with this thought to want to do something like that? Because that's not a normal thought for a lot of owners, right? It's very,
Right.
it's a little scary.
Right. So we had toyed with the idea, and then a friend of mine, a CEO of another of a company that we did business with, a computer company that, well, to this day still handles all of our computer issues, as well as making sure that we don't get hacked like the federal government gets hacked or the pipeline gets hacked. They're out there making sure that we're
Anonymous works for you.
Yeah, we're locked out, so to speak. He went through the process and decided that that's what he was going to do. And he said it was the smartest thing he ever did. And so we started looking into it. And then my son said, "Dad, let's give it a show." And man, we've been doing it like for 5 years now. And it makes a big difference. They feel part of the team. They feel more,
yes,
more involved.
So next question is, how did you present it to the team? I mean, do they have any liability in this, or they're just in for the wins?
Well, so there are some performance issues in there. So if we reach these metrics, then some bonuses start to kick in. So if your net profit before taxes is over something percentage or something like that, you can start sharing some of that revenue, and that gives them something. When things are going great, they can see some bonuses along the way.
What are you doing in your company that makes your customers really want to come back to you? Like, I know you don't make mistakes, but aside from not making mistakes,
well, you got to make sure you communicate effectively. Like I've got a customer that always wants a copy of the packing list when we ship it, so that they can make sure everything's in order. And you got and then when you attach, you got to make sure whatever that product number is, you attach it to that same email track, so that it's all in that sequence of one email followed by another, so that they don't have to look all over the place. It's all part of the same email track. And we like to do little things like that. We like to, the communication of getting pricing back, within 24 hours, shipping on time, and.
Oh, you mean you ship on time? Who ships on time anymore?
Yeah. Well, and then you got to depend on the trucking companies to get it there when they're supposed to, which is difficult because they too are looking for employees.
What does your son do in the business?
So my son is VP of manufacturing. So I let him take care of all the problems.
And that's your prerogative as you get older in the position you're in, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, exactly. So, he's an RIT grad. He knows more about print than I do, and that's great. So he's been a great asset, for this company, and he's definitely when I'm out of here, it's his baby.
When you out of there?
I have no idea.
Okay. I don't know if he asked you. I thought I'd ask you for him, just in case he's listening.
I'm still going strong. I love doing I love doing this, and the people that we deal with day in and day out, the vendors, the customers, they're all super people.
Yeah, you know what? And when in print, there's something about print. When you're in print, you want to talk to everyone print. You want to see everything print. You want to go everywhere print. It's I said it before. I'll say it again. I think print is the greatest industry out there. Everybody needs us. They don't have to like us. They don't have to like us, but they need us.
Yeah.
And that's good enough for me, right?
Right. And we just need the paper companies to make more papers, so that it's not quite so hard to get.
Well, just got to convince your customers to use other paper.
Well, there's not as many players today as there were 20 years ago.
No, everything's kind of well, so there's not the same players, but the other thing I noticed in paper in the old days, not that old, customers would specify brands of paper. brands
Right.
have coded, number ones, the Sappies, the whatever it was. And today, more and more quotes just say 100-pound coated.
Right.
Right. And it
Right.
always amazes, what's amazing me, first of all, I mentioned Sappi. I want to mention Sappi again. I think they're the best paper company in the world. I think they make the best sample books, and they go way, well out of their way to make us and our customers better understand paper and the use. So Sappi, if you're listening, send me a t-shirt. I love you guys. But I know, but the customers, you know, you deal with some designers who don't know paper, don't want to know paper. They spend all kinds of money on these beautiful designs, lots of photography, lots of imagery. And then it comes down to us. And I've said it before, and they're like, well, we got to save some money. And I'm like, well, hang on a second. The job's only 10 grand, right? We only make $2,400 net. How much of that would you like back? But more importantly, you're talking about saving. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to force the printer to go find a less quality paper. So you're going to lose your blue-white brightness, and all that beautiful imagery that you spent all that money on is going to go out the window. And I just don't understand it all.
Right.
Right. And then I blame our industry too, because not enough printers have done enough marketing to promote what we do and the materials that we use. Right.
Well, I think it helps having a, you know, Sappi is a great company. We use a lot of their sheets. I like using sheets that are made in North America. I think their quality is very, very good, and I just as soon buy as much North American made product as I can.
Yeah, we just hope your competitors think the same way so that everybody has the same competitive advantage.
Right.
As opposed to a disadvantage because you're quoting America versus.
Yeah, over there. Yeah, of course. Now it's all stuck.
I think
it was all stuck at the Suez Canal for a while.
Actually, I think my camera's reversed because I wanted to do this, but on my camera I saw my head go that way, so I'm like all messed up today. But yeah, even the Suez Canal, that was pretty crazy that made you go, I think there's still stuff sitting on the boat out there.
There is, yeah.
Right. So I think, what are they charging them? $1 billion fine for tying up the canal?
I'd hate to be paying that bill.
Well, I don't think they are. That's why the boat's not moving.
Right.
So how do you see printing today? You've been in it a long time. You've seen many ups and downs and greatness and sadness and colorfulness and all the nesses that I could think of. But how do you see the industry today?
You know, I still think it's pretty strong. There will be fewer players. I think mergers and acquisitions we will see more and more of those. You know, if there's a lot of family-run printing companies out there, and sometimes there's not a son or a daughter or a sibling that wants anything to do with print, and you know, those companies want to try and continue somehow, and that's where mergers and acquisitions can help those family-run businesses transition into something else with different ownership. So I think M&A is still a big part of our industry and will be going forward. I mean, I've done 2 so far, and always looking for other opportunities.
How'd they go?
Oh, very positive.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember doing a couple. You learn a lot when you do a merger or an acquisition or a tuck-in, or call it what you want. You're really taking 2 cultures together, even though one might not be doing so well. You know, they think their culture's better, and then you have that whole other. It's a learning experience actually when you bring 2 companies together.
Right. It always helps using people that know what they're doing too.
First of all, we have always, from the time I got into it, there was always a conversation about there's too much metal on the floor, right?
Right.
I don't think that conversation will ever go away as long as people are charging $175 an hour for their metal. And I mean, you know better than anyone, you bought a KBA.
Well, that metal's more than $175.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's
but I mean, it's an 8, you know, it's an 8 color. I don't care if it's 1/1, 2/2, or 4/4. It doesn't matter. I don't have to have a 2-color perfecter as well as a 8-color perfecter. I'm just going to run it all.
When you're doing costing and someone comes in with a book 1/1, are you adjusting the hourly rate on
When I
that
price it, yeah.
on that multi-million-dollar machine? You're
Oh,
taking
yeah.
it down, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an average.
Okay. Are you happy with the average at the end?
Oh, yeah.
Are you doing a
I mean,
lot
we
of,
don't do
you don't
most,
do a lot of 1/2?
yeah, most everything we do is 4/4. 90% is 4/4,
okay.
or, you know, it's 5-color special PMS, strike through varnish and UV coat over the
Oh,
top
no,
of.
no. Those
So
are
there's
margin
specialty
hitters.
stuff. Yeah. I
Those
mean,
are
that makes
great.
up, yeah, those are some great projects.
Do you have any plans for the future that you want to share with us?
I'm always looking for another merger or acquisition.
Okay, so you're going to use my time as a commercial
Yes,
to
sir.
advertise for
I love you, man.
potential. Okay, no, I'm good with that because I don't know if you know, but when you came on, there was a little thing you signed that said, I'm in for 12% of whatever you do. So please keep acquiring. Awesome. So it sounds like you're in a really good place, happy place. The employees are happy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't complain. I mean, it's, you know, I will say, you know, the last year was a tough year. I mean,
You weren't alone.
as you know, somebody explained to me, it's, you know, people ask, well, what do you think it's going to be like next month? And the analogy is, you know, you're in a blizzard and you can only see about 2 feet in front of you. That's all I got. I have no idea what's a mile in front of me. So
it's hard. Yeah, it's hard today with the crystal ball because we're all just rolling back. We don't know who wants what. People with the, did you have people working from home?
yes, yeah.
Do you still have people working from home?
No,
Do they
no.
want to work from home?
Not really. You know,
Okay.
I think the personal involvement is huge, and
Me too.
being able to focus with everybody else, and you know, if you got a question about something, they're right here. You know, I'm tired of Zoom and Team and all the other stuff. I'd rather meet with people in person. And
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm actually loving Zoom because I would rather a Zoom than a phone call, just because
true,
you know, it's kind of like everything that happened on Star Trek way back then is kind of happening now, right? Flip the
isn't
phone.
it though?
Now
Yeah,
all I need to do is like to close my eyes and be beamed somewhere.
yeah. Zoom me up, Scotty,
Yeah,
or
Zoom.
beam me up, Scotty. Yeah.
No, that would be that's good. No, I'm asking everybody because at the beginning and in the middle of the pandemic, everyone's going to work from home. Everyone's going to work from home. And now that we're coming to the end, there's a bit of panic going on. You know, Wall Street said, "Hey, September, come back or don't come back." And I think some places might be able to have people work from home depending on the business, but all manufacturing and design.
Yeah,
And
you
stuff,
can't run the equipment from home.
no.
And it's so much easier if somebody's got a question about something, you can just go ask them. And if you got to show them something, at least you've got something visual that I don't know. I like coming into the office every day. I like seeing everybody and
No, me
making
too.
sure everything's going right.
I like the jokes at the water cooler. I like the interaction.
Yep.
I found over COVID, although speaking to tons of people, you become a little flat, right? When you're not out, even if you're sitting in traffic and you're seeing something, it just changes everything.
Yeah, it helps to be involved.
Yeah, I agree. So before we wrap it up, do you have any parting words for us?
Print's alive and well. Keep it up. Make it happen.
Those could be the best words that anybody said at the end of any of my show. So
Here from Illinois.
Oh my God, I totally agree with you. Print is life. Life is print. Keep tuning in. Keep doing what you do. Keep promoting print. Print is alive. Warren Werbitt, for what they think. I love print.